So 1 2 3 1 2 3. Before guys, please don't talk, guys. Please don't talk. My voice is, I'm quite sick. That's why. Please be quiet. So before guys, we were talking with, we were working with array list. Yeah, array list just inside uses just simple array, as you remember. Yeah. Array list just uses simple array inside with indexes and etc. Yeah. And what was the advantage of array? Advantage of using array list. Array. And what was disadvantage and advantage of using array list? Advantage is that you can go to any elements using its index. Yeah, if using index, you can go to any element you want. It's done in O1. Yeah, guys. It's done using in O1. It means if you want to take 9, you know the index, you just use the index and take the 9. You don't have to jump, okay? You don't have to jump. You just use index and take some value here. But what is disadvantage of using arrays, guys? Disadvantage. What is the disadvantage about arrays? If you want to insert something here in the beginning, you want to insert some number here in the beginning, yeah, for example, so you have to shift all elements. Yeah? To insert something, you shift all elements to the to the beginning or somewhere in the middle. Or the same, if you want to remove 5, you have to again shift all elements. Or if you want to remove some, hi guys. If you want to remove something from the middle, again you have to shift elements. So this is bad thing about array. This is disadvantage. Okay, is it clear? But today we are going to talk about not array list but linked list. It's called linked list. What is linked means? Linked means connected. Connected, соединенные, қосылған бір-біріне, linked, okay? So how linked list works, guys? Linked list inside it uses not array, so we will not use array now. To store data, we will not use arrays as we did in using array list. We will use objects, so each data will be stored in some object. So how it works? Let's assume that this list is a linked list, okay? Let's assume that this is object of linked list. And if you say something like add some value, for example, add 10, what will happen? It will create an object in the memory. Object, not array. It is an object, guys. First, I show you here, then I will go to code and show, okay? First, I have to show the theory, how it works. So if you say add 10, it will create an object. Inside, it will put your data 10. And this object has two references. It has reference previous. So let me just say P is previous. And next is next. So this P and N are the P and N will point, будут указывать, будут направляться, да, или ссылаться на другие объекты. This P and N will be using this P and N, guys, you will reference to another object. I'll show you now. For example, if you say list.add, for example, 20, you will create another object. You'll put 20 here. This object also has previous and next. But what will happen now? The next from this object, the next will be pointing to this object, and previous from the second object will point to the first object. So they will be linked. They will be connected. Они будут соединены. Okay? Before, to store 10 and 20, we used array. Yeah? We said here 20, here 10, here 20. It has indexes and etc. But linked list do not use arrays. It uses objects. So for two values, you create two objects and you link them with each other. You connect them with each other. Okay? So this is the way how array list works. And how do you think, what is the benefit of array list? If you have something, for example, if you have many linked, let's say you have 6 linked objects here. Objects that are linked with each other. Okay. Let's assume that you have some objects, some numbers here, anything. How do you think, what is good about linked list and what is bad? What is advantage and disadvantage? First, it do not have, guys, indexes. It's not array, that's why we don't have indexes here, yeah? And if you want to take number 10, we don't have index now. To take number 10, we have to do what? We have to start from the beginning and jump. What I mean by jump, I mean you take the next element. When you sit on this object, guys, using this next reference, you can go to a next element. Using its next, you can go to next element. Using its next field, you can go to next element, and etc. Then, okay, only then, guys, you can access this 10, okay? You don't have index, so to go to somewhere, you have to jump n times. This is bad about array list. No. No, you cannot. Is it clear, guys? If you use arrays, to take the number 10, you just use its index. You say, give me the number in the index 2. Here you cannot say, give me the number 10 in some index, because we don't have index. To get the number 10, you have to start from here and jump, 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 and only then you can get the 10. This is bad about our linked list. But what is good about linked list, guys? How do you think? Okay, no answer, as always. If you want to insert something in the beginning or in the middle, it's done very quickly. Why? If you want to insert something in the beginning, you want to insert number 3 in the beginning, you will just create an object with some number inside, with this number 3, and you'll just say, this is your next element and this is your previous element. That's all. No need to shift elements to the right, as we do it with using arrays. In arrays, you remember, guys, yeah? You have some numbers, you want to add 3 here, you have to shift everything. Here you don't have to shift. You just create object with some value and you connect with the next element, that's all. Or you want to do what? You want to put element here in the middle, somewhere here you want to put. So what you do, you just remove these connections and you just connect these 2 elements and these 2 elements. That's all. No need to shift elements. No need to move elements. Is it clear? You want to remove this element, you do what? You just remove these connections and you say, now you point here, now you point here. Then this element is removed from the linked list. No. Time is over. Is it clear, guys? So inserting, removing elements to the beginning or somewhere in the middle is done faster than in array list because you don't have to shift anything. Yeah, I hope it's clear, guys. So let's see how it's implemented, guys. Let's see. If you have questions, you can ask, guys. In any language, you can ask. In Russian, in Kazakh, it's up to you, guys. түсініп жатсыңдар ма оқып? Түк түсінбей жатсыңдар ғой, ме? Сен тыңдамай жатсың, ладно. Тыңдап жатқандарын сұрап отырмын. Түсініп жатсыңдар ма? Қазақша видео болады, көресіңдер онда. Просто қазір сұрап алу керексіңдер. Как раз видеоға сұрақтар келген жақсы да. Отырыңдар сөйтіп. Okay, let me explain then. You remember I said we have objects, yeah? So inside objects I said we have 3 things. We have some data, we have previous, and we have next. So this is the object of class node. We have class node, and this is the object of node class. So this is the class node, guys. You can see that this class is it uses generic E. What is E? E means you can hold any data here. You can hold integers, strings, and etc. I'm just working with integers, but you can work with any type of data. It's clear. That's why it uses generic. So class node has 3 fields. It has field data of the type E. Data is this part. This is data hour. Each object of node has data. Then it has next and previous. But as you can see, next and previous, they are of type node. Why they are type of node, guys? How do you think? Why next and previous? Their type is node also. I mean, this class is also used as a type for next and previous. Why? Because it points to the object of also node class. Okay, this is also an object of node class. This previous also points to the object of node class. That's why the type is not. If the type is not, it means next will point, will reference to some object of class node. Is it clear? The type of next is not. Why? Because next will point, the value of next is equal to object of node class. I just draw it using arrow, but this means what? This means that next is equal to object of node class. This is also object of node class, okay? We have two object of node class. So I will just draw it using arrows, but you can understand this, that this next is equal to object of another object of node. That's why its type is not. Okay? So you can say something like this. Let's assume that this object is this one. This is our node object. And this next, you are saying this next is equal to what? Like new node with the value 5, for example. Okay, for example, with the value 5. So you're saying next is equal to new node with the value 5. It means this node has value 5, for example, and your next is equal to this object. But I will not say equal, I will say pointing, okay? This is the same. I hope it's clear, guys. So we have three things. We have data, which is this data. We have next and previous. So let me remove. So each element has next and previous, okay? So let's say we have these two elements. Each element will have previouses, and each element will have next. But in the beginning, guys, when you create object of node, you pass the data here. You take the data and write to your field here, to your data field. And each node, in the beginning, guys, when you create object of node, when you create this object, its next and previous values will be null, guys. So this will be now, this is now, and etc. Okay, in the beginning, then you have to connect. Then you have to connect. But in the beginning, they will be null. Null means it's not pointing to anywhere. Null означает, что он никуда не ссылается, не смотрит, не направляет, не указывает и так далее. Хорошо? In the beginning. So now this is one class, this is class node, because this is objects of node class. But we have another class. It's called my linked list, guys. It's also generic class. And my linked class also has what? Three types. Three fields. It has size. Size means what? How many objects we have. Because in each object you hold one data. So here size is equal to what? To 2. Because we have two objects, okay? Two numbers. We have two values. So size is 2. And we have two fields, head and tail. Head is голова, бас. Tail is хвост, құйрық. But here we mean head is the beginning of list. If you have list, if you have many elements like here, like this. So this will be the head. This is the start of your list. This is the head, and this should be the tail. Okay? By head and tail, I mean the start and end of your linked list. Okay? Is it clear? So we have, when you create object of linked list, you should have head, tail, and size. So let's see. let's try to work, guys, here. Let's say you created linked list using this constructor, default constructor. You will have head equal to null. You will have head, which is equal to null now. It's null. It's not pointing to anywhere, means it's null. You have tail, which is also equal to null. You have tail, that is also equal to null. And you have size, which is equal to 0. Okay, let's say that I have some size here, which is equal to 0, in the beginning. So head is null, tail is also null, and size is 0. Okay, this is the beginning. So what do we do, guys? This method you will implement, I'll talk about it, I will show it later. Let's start from this method at first. At first, method adds to the beginning. It adds to the beginning, to the head of your linked list. Okay? So let's see how it works. You just you created linked list. Let's say you created linked list and you said add first. You said add first and number 10, for example. Okay. So what will happen? Let's say you said add first and you give some data. Here you pass 10 here. So how it works? It creates new node. It creates object of node. Yeah. It creates some object of node with some data inside. So what data you passed? You passed 10. So it creates an object of node with the value 10. As you remember, it has previous and next. Okay. But they are equal to null in the beginning. Next is equal to null and previous is also equal to null in the beginning. It means they're not pointing to anywhere. Then what? You are asking, your head is null? After you created this object of node, you said, if head is null, our head is null or not this head? Is it null? If it's null, you will do what? You will say, now head should point to my new node, to this object that I created. Head should point to new node, so head will point here to your new node. And you say your tail, my tail also should point to this new node. So when you have one element, this element will be like head and tail of your linked list because you have only one element. Yeah? Guys, are you listening now? I can just record video, not asking you then if you're not listening. Should I do like this? Because you're not asking anything, you're not listening normally. Okay, then I will record video. If you have questions, please just disturb me. Yeah? Stop me and ask questions. Because you're not listening, it's not good. So, if my head is null, it was null in the beginning, because in the beginning they are both null. Head is null, tail is null. And you say if head is null, it means we have no element in the linked list, it's empty. So you'll point your head to new node, and you point your tail, you'll say your tail will be pointing also to new node, okay? So now it's head and tail, one because we have only one element, and you'll do what? Size plus plus, so your size becomes 1. If again you call the same function, the same method at first, you call it with 20, for example, what will happen? You again called at first with the value 20 here, data is 20. Again, you created object of new node with some data 20. So you create object of new node with the data 20. This node also has previous and next, okay? And you said your head is null? No, it's not null. My head is not null because my head is equal to this element. This is my head of my linked list. If it's not null, you just go to else statement, and what you do? You say my new node. Yeah, this is my new node that I just created. My new node next should point to the head. So my new node next should point to the head. This is my head. Yeah, it shows where's the head. This is head of my linked list. So my new nodes next should point to head. Heads previous, my heads previous, this is my head, it's previous, should point to new node. It should point to my new node. So we just connected them. This is linked list, they're connected. And you say my head now should point to new node. This is my head, now it should point not here, but it should point to new node. So you just remove this link, okay? So now this is your head, this is your tail. Now and you do what? Of course you do size plus plus, so you do size will be 2. So you have 2 elements, and this is head, this is tail. Questions? So this is how it works. You have to know where it starts, and you have to know where it ends. Okay, so so using this head and tail, guys, you can control your linked list. You know where it starts, where it ends, okay? So this is how at first works. At first adds always to the beginning. It adds to the head, okay? If you do at first again, at first 30, it will put it here, and your head will be pointing here, and this will be 30, okay? Like this. It always, at first, always adds to the beginning. Now, let's assume we added many elements. Now I have head, I have tail, and assume we added many elements. So we have, let's say we have 5 elements here, and they are pointing to each other. And let's say we have some numbers like 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, and head looks here, and head is pointing to the first element, tail is pointing to the last one. Okay, let's assume we have this structure, and of course size is equal to 5 here because we have 5 elements. I think it's clear with the method add first, yeah? Add first adds to the beginning. You have to implement this method add that adds the number to the end, it adds to the tail. The same as I did with add first, adds to the beginning, this should add to the end, okay, to the tail. It's your work to do, okay, at home. Oops. But I want to show you this method, add to some index, some data. It says add, for example, if you say add some list, yeah, list dot add to the index, for example 3, add number 10, not 10, let's say to the index 3, add number 40, you say 40. It means what? Where he wants to add? He wants to add here 40. As after you add 40, it should have number, it should have index 3. So for example, if you think that it has index 0, 1, 2, it should have index 3, then 4 and 5 normally. Okay? This is what I want to do, guys. I want to add to the index 3 the number 40. But as you know, we're not using array. If we're not using array, we don't have index. Why it says add to some index, but here we're not using index? Yeah? We don't have array to talk about indexes. We just have what? Objects. But you have to pretend that you're working with indexes. You have to pretend. Нужно притвориться, что у нас индексы есть. Хотя их нету. Ну, как я вам нарисовал только что, нужно вставить туда, куда он просит. Хотя у нас индексов нету. Для этого мы что делаем? So how we do this, guys? How we do this? Even if we don't have indexes, I'll show you guys. First, you check the index F first. If it's minus somewhere here, -1, -2, or if it's after, like out of size, if you want to add somewhere there, yeah. For example, if he says add to the index 30, how I can add to the index 30 if I have just 5 elements? Yeah. So if index is not correct, you have to throw an error and just stop, do nothing, okay? But if index is okay, you have to check. If index is 0, it means he wants to add here to the beginning, to the head. Then just use my method add first, yeah, that I showed you here, other method add first that adds to the beginning, yeah, that I showed you now. If he wants to add to the index 0, it means he wants to add to the head. Just use the ready method that is always ready. I mean, almost ready. Not almost, which is ready. Just call this method. If he wants to add to the end, to the tail here, just use this method, add data, this method, that adds to the end. Типа готовый метод есть, зачем вы одно и то же будете писать? Если он хочет начало добавить, вызови вот этот метод, который у тебя уже есть. Если он хочет конец добавить, вызови вот этот метод, который у тебя уже есть. Эти два метода, вот этот метод вы должны сами реализовать, а этот я вам уже только что объяснил. Okay? But if you enter this else, it means he wants to add not to the beginning, not to the end, but somewhere in the middle. Куда-то в середину, значит, хочешь добавить, если вы зашли в этот else. Okay? So let's see how it works, guys. It creates new node with this data. So it creates some new node. Let's say it creates a new node with the data. What is the data? 40, yeah? 40. Oops. Он опять пришел. So this is our new node, yeah? Our new node, okay? We create a new node, then we say, we create some current, yeah, with the type node. We create something like current that in the beginning that points to the head. So we have some current, let's say we have some current that points where? It points where? To the head. What is the head of our linked list? This is the head of our linked list. Yeah, you see, this is the head. So current will point to the head in the beginning. Okay, сейчас поймите для чего. Почему? Why I create this current, guys? Using this current, I have to jump. I will start from head and I will jump. You'll see how I will jump. So I will jump somewhere here. Then only I can insert it. Okay, I have to jump here to insert this element. So you'll see how I jump now. I start from my current points to the head in the beginning. Then this for loop, guys, how do you think this for loop, how many times this for loop will be executed? Let's count. What is the index? 3, yeah? Index that I want to pass, yeah? So if I put 3 here, 3 minus 1 is 2. How many times this for loop will work, guys? When it's 0, you will do once, yeah? When it's 1, you will do twice, second time. When it's 2, guys, you will stop, yeah? Yeah? So this for loop will be executed how many times? 2 times. 2 times you do what? You say what? 2 times? Current should point to next of current. You are saying current now should point to the current's next element. 2 times. 2 раза мы говорим. Пусть current указывает на следующий от current элемент. Okay? So how it works? It says now current is pointing to head. Сколько раз мы это делаем? For loop сколько раз работает? 2 раза. So for loop works 2 times. So we have to do 2 times. You say now current should point to current's next element. So here. Okay? Now it points here. We did only 1 time. And when you do it second time, you do what again? Current should point to currents. Now this is current. To currents next. So now it should point here. You see? You jump twice. You jump twice. Ты прыгнул 2 раза. You put to the head, you said current equal to current next. Now you're pointing here. Then you said current equal to currents next. Now you're pointing here. So you jump 2 times. Только так я могу добраться до элемента, прыгая от начала или от конца. У нас нету индексов, мы только так можем добираться до нужных нам элементов. Я, басқа жол жоқ. Бізде индекс жоқ, сол үшін біз бейшара сөйтіп секіріп жүреміз. Түсінікті ғой, біз массив қолданып жатқан жоқпыз, сол үшін только солай бір жерге барғыларың келе ма, или басынан или аяғынан бастап секіресіңдер, басқа выход жоқ мынау массив емес өйткені. Okay? So if you want to go somewhere in the middle, you start from the head or tail and you have to jump to the place you want to go. There is no other way because we're using arrays. Yeah? But you will understand why here we're looking here now. You will understand why current is pointing to this element, okay? Let's see what it does. Let me remove everything here. So current is pointing to the element with data 30, yeah? 30. Okay, guys? So what it will do, let's see, guys. Let's see. After you jump twice, yeah, this is for jumping, this is for jumping. It says what? New node, this is my new node, yeah? This is my new node. New node next should point to currents next. Guys, one more time. New nodes next, my new nodes next, yeah, this one should point to current's next element. This is the current, yeah, this is his next element. So this next should point here, yeah. My new node next should point to the current, this is current, to the current's next element, okay. New nodes previous, my new nodes previous should point to current. It should point to current. This is current. Yeah? Yeah? Currents next. This is current. Currents next should point to new node now. It should point to new node now. And if new node's next element is not null, if new node's next element is not null, it's not null because you can see here we have object. If it means if new node has next, if saying normally like in English here, just in English, it says if new node has next element. It says if new node next element is not null. Okay, so if new node's next element is not null, it's not null. Yeah, you can see array, it means it's not null. Then you see what? New nodes next elements previous, new nodes next elements previous should point to new node. It means you remove this connection. Когда вот перенаправляете туда-сюда, вот эти connection теряются, потому что он же смотрел сюда, а ты его сюда перенаправил. И вот эти два connection потерялись. Yeah, before the next was pointing here, but you set him to point here, and for this previous you set to point here, that's why you lose this connection. Let me remove it. You lose this connection, guys. If you use this connection, it means what? It means you inserted this element to this place. Yeah, you see now they are connected. So let's count the indexes: 0, 1, 2. This is third element, fourth, fifth. So you put 40 to the third element, to the third index. Now it has third index. Is it clear? I hope it's clear. And of course you do what? Size plus plus, because size was 5, now it should be 6. Yeah? Questions here? You just create some object and rearrange the pointers, like next should point here, previous here, next here, previous here. Now they're connected. No need to shift anything. Не надо ничего двигать, как в массиве. Просто вот эти направления сделайте, next, previous, все. Правильно подключили, все. Они законнектились. Okay? No questions? Жайбыз. Уақыт өткізу керек, сол үшін түсіндіріп жатқанмын ғой. No, андай ғой, why sometimes linked list is better to use. Why? If you do many inserts and removes in the beginning or in the middle. Массивта что плохо? Guys, when you use arrays, you have, let's assume you have array of 1,000 elements, yeah? You have long arrays of 1,000 elements. So let's see here. You have very long arrays with 1,000 elements, yeah? And if you do many times, if you do insertions or removes, you always shift next elements. У тебя массив 1000 элементов. И почему-то у тебя программа, какая-то специальная программа, которая делает очень много делает вставок, insert делает очень много, и remove очень много делает. В середине, в начале где-нибудь. И на каждый insert, remove ты все двигаешь назад, вперед. Это очень сложно для, это очень долго делается, для процессора сложно. А в linked list все хорошо. Именно если ты делаешь insert и remove куда-то в начало в этот, да, тебе ничего двигать не надо, да? Ты хочешь сюда между ними поставить элемент, ты просто объект создаешь, и вот эти связки правильно делаешь, здесь связка теряется, все. Тебе двигать ничего не надо. Ты хочешь какой-то элемент удалить, вот этот элемент хочешь удалить, ты что делаешь? Ты говоришь, вот эти связи убираешь, ты говоришь, пусть он теперь сюда ссылается, а он сюда ссылается. Вот этот бедный один остается, и его удаляет сборщик мусора. То есть ничего двигать не надо. Здесь удаление и вставка делается быстрее, чем в массиве. Но здесь что плохо в linked листе, как я ему объяснял? Бегать долго. Ты хочешь все числа показать, да, у тебя же числа здесь есть, в каждом есть же число. Ты хочешь какие-то все числа показать? Ты не можешь сразу вот в этот элемент прибежать. У тебя же нету индекса. Чтобы сюда добраться, ты должен отсюда начать, например, или с конца или сначала. И вот так прыгать, current next, вот так. Здесь доходить сложно до элемента. Но вставка и это быстрее будет. А в массиве, наоборот, дойти быстрее. Ты говоришь, дай мне элемент по такому-то индексу. Все, U1. А здесь ты говоришь, дай мне элемент вот с таким-то индексом, да, например. Ты, если хочешь по какому-то типа индексу дойти, у нас здесь индексов нету, но ты должен притворяться, что как будто мы используем индекс, хотя здесь индекс нет. Если он говорит, дай мне число в индексе 3, это у нас, что возьмет время ON? Почему? Потому что ты начнешь откуда-то и прыгаешь, это одна операция, прыгнешь, одна прыгнешь, и пока добраться, ты ON используешь. То есть у каждого свои плюсы и минусы. So all structures has its benefits and like disadvantages and advantages. Okay, it depends on your task. If your task uses many insertions and removes, so better maybe to use linked list. If you don't do many removes and inserts, maybe it's better to use array list. So you have to decide what data structure to use. It depends on the task that you are doing. I hope it's clear, guys. Questions here? So I showed you add to some index, but guys, one thing I want to do. Okay, one thing I want to. You see that when I call add using some index, I always start running from the head. Я всегда начинаю бегать с головы, видели? It's not correct, guys. You have to change it. Вам нужно это изменить. Вам нужно мой код вот этот прям изменить. Как? If I want to insert somewhere here, если я говорю, вставь в индекс 1, скажем, да, в индекс 1, то вы видите, что индекс 1 ближе к началу, чем к концу. So if I say index 1, insert to index 1 is closer to the head rather than to the tail. So you start from the head and add it here, okay? Add your element here. But if I say insert, for example, to the 3 or to the 4, to the index 4, you have to check. If index 4 is closer to the tail, closer, yeah? Если ближе к хвосту, начинайте бежать с хвоста. If index 4 is closer to the tail, you have to start running from the tail and run backward. Назад бежать надо. А я тупо бегу куда? Я начинаю с хеда и тупо бегу вперед. То есть у меня код туповатый. Вы должны как-то исправить, чтобы он был поинтереснее, с конца мог бежать. Это не только касается adda, добавления. Это еще касается remove и так далее. Всего, что можно улучшить. Окей? То есть ваша задача не просто реализовать вот эти методы пустые, а еще изменить мой код, который я вам даю. Где надо, бежите с конца, где надо, бежите сначала. Потому что я на защите, на следующей неделе у нас защита 3. Это не защита, это будет квиз, опять же. Потому что я передумал делать лид-код. Только вот этот лид-код закончим, второй. С третьего опять пойдут бумажные квизы. Потому что лид-код мы не успеем. Я вообще не успеваю с лид-кодом. Для каждой группы 3 урока надо, чтобы закончить защиту. Вы же сами видели, в прошлый раз вы защитили там 6-7 человек, что ли, защитили, а у нас 28. Ой, 20 сколько там? 28, да, почти? Поэтому я передумал делать лид-код, но вот этот лид-код закончим второй. Начиная с третьего будет бумажки. Что конкретно буду спрашивать, сегодня или не сегодня, завтра или послезавтра запишу на выходных. На казахском и на английском запишу 2 видео, что я буду спрашивать и так далее. Окей? Код я вот так полностью, код не буду спрашивать, но... Скину, да, вот с этими пустыми. Но вот эти вы должны исправлять. Когда нужно, с хвоста тоже надо бежать. У меня тупо с головы бежит. Окей? At first I showed you. Вот это вы должны... Вот это... You have to implement this method, guys. Get what? Get. You pass the index. It just gives you what? E what? E is what? E is this data. E это вот ваше значение. В нашем случае это число. So E, in our case, it's integer, guys. E, yeah? It's a generic. We use generic. That's why. So if I say get 1, you have to return me 20. If I say get 5, you have to return me 60. Okay? But again, here you have to know where to start. You are starting from the head or tail. It depends on index. То есть здесь тоже надо умно сделать, когда нужно бежать сначала, а когда ближе к концу бежать с tail и назад. Okay? Remove by index, guys. Здесь тоже, look, it removes by index. Let me show you. Let me remove here. Okay. So let's say we have size 5. We have 5 elements, yeah. And it says remove by index what? Это тоже надо убрать, кстати. Okay. So let's say we said remove from our list. Guys, do not talk. If you have questions, ask me, guys. We said list remove. Let's say we said remove from index 2. Okay. So what is index 2? This one. So I want to remove this element, yeah. So what I will do, guys, let's see. What I will do, again, I will start from the head. You have to change, of course. You have to change. Sometimes you have to start from the tail. Who is talking? I created a current started from the head, but you have to change. So I have some current that starts from the head. Yes, starts from the head. Again, using the Зачем я? Ладно, okay. If index is 0, it means you want to remove this element. Yeah? But I have ready method remove first that removes the first element. Guys, кстати, remove first, remove last, вы это сами делаете. Это удалить самый первый элемент, удалить самый последний элемент. Okay? You have to implement it on your own. Okay? So I say, if it... Уф, я кто разговариваю? На видео, да? Или бомба, да? Guys, I say if index is 0, it means I want to remove this one. You just call method remove first. If index is size -1, it means he wants to remove this one. Call just remove last element. Okay? But if you are here in else, it means what? It means you want to remove somewhere in the middle. Это посередине, значит, хочешь. Раз ты сюда попал. So again, you remember this jumping? You remember this jumping? We start from the head and jump. I will say where it will jump, guys. It will jump twice. 1, 2, guys. Okay? It will jump to the element that you want to remove. Current will look here now, current. And it creates two more pointers. It creates pointers previous and pointers next node. Previous will point to current previous, and next node will point to current next. So you have two more pointers. You have previous that points to the currents previous. It points here. And you have next node that points to the currents next node. It points here, guys. So always when you want to remove, the current will point to the element that you are going to remove. And previous will point to the left side. Next node will point to the right side of the current. Okay? You'll see why we need it. Okay? You'll see why. Народ, понятно, да? Когда ты вот это хочешь удалить, у тебя current будет на него смотреть, по коду, если посмотрите. И вот этот previous будет смотреть на левый элемент от current, и next будет смотреть на правый элемент от current. Типа на двух соседей будет смотреть. And what it will do, guys, it will just say previous is next should point to next node. So this is previous, yeah? Previous is next. It was pointing to current, but yeah? But I'm saying now you have to point to the next node. So it will point where? To the next node, okay? Okay? And you say what? Next node's previous. This is next node's previous. Will point where? Will point to previous. So you will point this previous to the previous element. I mean. То есть ты просто проигнорировал середину. Ты взял двух соседей, друг на друга направил. You just took two neighbors of the current. And linked to each other them. So you lost these two connections. Okay? Is it clear, guys? Ты просто поигрался с некстами, превьюсами и просто разорвал вот эту связь. И у тебя это он бедный остался без связи, да, вот этот, кого ты хочешь удалить. So you do what, guys? You do size minus. It's clear, it will be 4 now. And before removing, you do what? You return currents data. Ты вот эту тридцатку возвращаешь. Почему? Помните, как в array-листе? You have to return the currents data, you return 30. Why? Because you have to, user have to know what element he removed. Что он удалил, он должен знать. You see here in remove method we have what? We have E. Means it will return you the number that you are removing, the value that you're removing. Okay? So you remove currents data, you remove the 30. And when your method finishes, yeah, when your function finishes, what will happen? This current will be removed. Why it will be removed? Because it was created here, it was created inside your function. That's why it will be removed. If this current will be removed, there will be nothing that is pointing to this object. Nobody is pointing to this object. So garbage collector will see that nobody is pointing to this object and it will remove it from memory. Когда никто не ссылается на некий объект или массив, есть понятие garbage collector, сборщик мусора в Java. Он смотрит, что на этот объект никто не ссылается, он зря лежит в памяти, никто на него не смотрит. Он его потом удаляет. Соответственно, then your indexes changed, yeah? Now this has index 2, this has index 3. This is removed. Clear? Questions? And again, no need to shift anything. Не надо ничего двигать. So you take the element you want to remove, you take its two neighbors and connect to each other, the two neighbors. And your current element will be without any pointers, without any reference, and garbage collector will remove it. Questions? Then guys, again here you have to do it more efficient. If index is close to the beginning, you have to run from the head. If index is close to the tail, you have to run from tail backwards. Okay, this is your task. Remove first and remove last. This is your homework. Why it's your homework? Because I will ask it in the quiz 3. Yeah? Get first returns what? It returns heads data. So if you call get first, it returns 10 because this is our head and it's data 10. Get last gives you tails data. So this is tails data 60. Okay. Contains do what? Contains method, guys, you give some data here. If you say contains 50, contains 50, like you're asking. If you have some element like 50, it will give you true. Yeah. It will again, you see, it again starts from head and jumps. It jumps and checks if some data in some element is equal to your data. If it's true, it returns true. If not, it returns false. Okay, contains. Method contains. So size return, size is empty return. And what if you call display, guys? Display should show all values. Okay, if you call display, it should show 10, some arrow maybe just for design, yes, for some, чтобы для красоты просто. Типа 20, он должен все вот эти числа показать. It must show all values starting from the left, from head to tail. 10, 20, 50, 60, okay? So if you call display, it should display all numbers like this. Starting from left, from head till tail, yeah, to the end. So also this is your home task. So your home task is implement this empty methods plus change my methods. You should change everything. If it's possible, better to start from tail, you should start from tail. Можете не благодарить, да? Вот. I'll give you this linked list. Questions? Anyone who wants to defend today the lead code? Who wants to defend today lead code? Қазір бір екі адам ғана үлгереді. Бар ма ондайлар? Или қорқып тұрсыңдар ма? Қорқыңдар онда.